Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you so very much for taking your precious time to share with me. You're giving me the gift of your time, and I'm hoping and believing, knowing that because you have given me this gift of your time, of course, you deserve something inspiring, something that is going to provoke you to realize how worthy you are, something that is going to create that aha moment and that you are going to learn. You will not regret, of course, sparing or sharing your time with me. Today's conversation is very, very important and, of course, very fitting, and it is all about poverty mindset. And I'm asking the question, can African Christians overcome poverty mentality? You do not want to miss this conversation, and I'm sure that you will like the conversation. That's why I'm inviting you to stay tuned for the conversation. Make sure you share the links with your friends and invite your friends so that we can get into the conversation of today. If truly Africans can overcome the poverty mentality. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you very much for taking out your time. And I'm very sure that you're going to like the conversation of today, because the conversation of today will change your perception. And remember, in this conversation, I say it and I say it often, and I want you to also believe it. It is my and they are my experiences, and it doesn't make that your experiences are wrong. We just want to share the different kinds of perceptions and maybe get to change our mindset so that we can make the best out of life and, of course, have good life while here on earth. For those who do not know me, my name is Vera Sompon, and I lecture at the University of Esslingen and on the subject of racism. But of course, where people do not know me very much is the fact that my husband is a pastor, and I hardly talk about this area because I made up my mind to just live that life without being lousy about it, right? But today I felt that it would be good to make sure that those who are listening to me, especially if they are Christians, understand, of course, from what perspective I am talking. Of course, I'm a trainer. I own different businesses, and I'm a mother of two beautiful children that God gave us, and of course, a wife. And I really like being a wife. So stay with me to the end of the conversation and let's see what we really have to get out of the conversation today. Today we are going to be talking and on the conversation of, can Africans Christians, I precise Christians today because I really wanted Christians to have this conversation, and because I know that it is an important conversation. And the question, just write down the question, and during the course of the conversation, let's get to find out if African Christians can really overcome the poverty mentality. Just for you who is coming in, the point of discussion today will be on, the first thing is understanding what poverty is. Then we're going to proceed to define and see the different types of poverty. And of course, we're going to continue our conversation with understanding the source of poverty. I know that many are from Africa, so I want us to find out where does poverty come from, right? And then we'll see if it has a purpose. Remember, everything here on earth has a purpose. And if we do not understand the purpose of a thing, we either destroy it or we abuse it. So we want to also find out, hmm, poverty Does it also have a purpose? Of course, why not? That's why 80% of the people are poor financially, maybe, or spiritually, right? And then, of course, we want to understand the mind. And today, I'm hoping and wishing and praying for you that you really understand the power of the mind, and especially understand how the mind affects our lives in general. And then at the end, we want to understand why we must overcome poverty mindset, and if at all it is possible. Is that good? I guess so. That should be a good conversation. So, a little bit about myself. I said it already before, but just a little bit about myself and my mission here on earth. We all have a mission here on earth. I say we have two purposes. Generally, there's a general purpose, and then there's an individual purpose. So, my individual purpose here on earth is my mission, and my mission on earth is to inspire you, is to empower you, is to support you. Yes, I mean you listening to me right now. My mission, my purpose, my entire existence is to support you, is to empower you, is to give you the ability to be able to fulfill your own mission here on earth. And again, to find out the real meaning of your life. Why on earth? I know we're all gonna go to heaven. I know we want to go to heaven, even though most of us are not ready to die now, but I know we all desire to go to heaven. But until we reach in heaven, the mission and the purpose why you're here on earth, I have the assignment to help you find that. And of course, that is my entire existence, to help add value to your life. And if I found my mission, I'm very sure that you also will and can and is able to find the mission and the meaning of life. Okay, good. Remember our conversation, we said we're going to first of all begin by understanding what poverty is all about. And this is my definition of poverty. Maybe you want to write this down, and maybe you want to think about it. Maybe you want to reflect on it. Maybe you want to think over it and again. And maybe you want to put it close to your own definition of poverty. But this is the best definition I could ever come out with, looking at my own life and looking at the people around me. Yes, I did social work, and I, of course, in the process of social work, you do psychology. And so it made me to think and reflect why we think the way we think. This is the definition I came up with poverty. What is poverty? If we want to understand and want to overcome any kind of poverty mentality, maybe we want to first of all get to understand what poverty is all about. Now, this is the definition I brought for you. Poverty is the lack of creativity. Take note of those words. One, creativity. Creativity for what? Creativity to produce, to multiply, and to replenish. Wait a minute, stop. Again, poverty is a lack of creativity. What? Creativity? Yes. For what? To produce, to multiply, and to replenish. Replenish what? The earth. With what? With God given talent. God gave you specific talent. You are a child of God. While here on earth, you have specific assignments, and there's a specific talent within you to fulfill that specific assignment. And therefore, for you to fulfill that assignment, there is a need for creativity. And that's why poverty is, again, the lack of creativity to produce, to multiply, and to replenish your God given talent for the world to profit from it, and then reward you as a result with some good gift. I guess this is a good definition that we can all work with it. Now, again, the topic is overcoming poverty. Now, so we can say, can African Christians overcome poverty mentality? That was my question, my topic. And of course, the definition of poverty is so important that we take note of it. Now, the definition of poverty is a lack of creativity to produce. What are we producing? There's something within you that you must produce. And until you find that thing, you will not be able to produce that thing. And now, when you produce that thing, you have to multiply that thing. Now, it is in the process of multiplication that we add more values in the life of more other people. And the more other people we add values to their lives, the more they give us maybe the reward in forms of gifts. And those gifts could be monetary, it could be just nice conversations, it could just be nice relationships, just like the one I'm developing with many of you now. Hey, I'm seeing you all, sisters, tribal sister. I'm seeing you, Cornelia. Thank you. I'm so grateful to have you. I'm seeing you, Mori Okeye. Thank you so very much. Mwambi Rose, you are such an amazing woman. I'm seeing you, Jerry, Dr. Jerry. Thank you so much. Glada, thank you. I'm seeing you all. Wendell Joy, thank you very much for being my guest today. And I want you to share the link as we continue this conversation, because you will be very, very blessed with the conversation today. And today we want to go further. We want to find out the different types of poverty. Now, we have already defined poverty as, of course, the lack of creativity. So, if we lack creativity, now we want to go to understanding the different kinds of poverty that exist. Now, we have lack of poverty in knowledge. You may have gone to school and you have a degree, but it doesn't mean that you're knowledgeable. And so most of us are really lacking in knowledge and information in different sectors of life. And I call that darkness. Darkness because if you're lacking, let's say, in how to have good health, then you have darkness in that area. And then there's a need for light to come into that. And light can come in form of knowledge and information. Of course, most of us are poor in our relationships. I don't know if you, and I want you to take this area very, very important, because the lack of good relationships can destroy you. Now, when we are talking about this, please look deep into you and reflect about it. Relationships are the most essential. I've told many young people, professionals, even myself, I went through that, and I realized that you can be so good at what you do. You can be an expert, but I tell you, the secret of success is not in your expertise, it is in the relationships that you keep around you. And therefore, there is a need for us to work on our relationships so that we are really free and we can make the best out of it. Many people are doing businesses, but if you're doing business and you don't have good relationships, you are not empathetic enough with your people, you don't know how to create those relationships, even the gifts that you're supposed to get as a result of producing something may still not come to you. In as much as we may think and say that Africans are difficult and all that, honestly, if you are not difficult, you will not get difficult people around you. So I think that we should work on that area of relationships. Then we have spiritual poverty. Many people do not really realize that they are spiritually poor. Now, there is a difference between being religious, doing all these religious activities. I mean, doing the praying and doing the all the ceremonies attached to it, but it doesn't make you spiritual, right? So there's a whole lot of difference between this, and we really need to take time to build a spiritual relationship with the source of our life, which is God. And many people are really, really, really lacking in that area. And of course, the mind, we are spirit in the mind. Also, we have poverty in the mind because of the kind of limiting belief systems, the limiting informations we have put in our minds has made our mind also limited. So not any other person has limited you or myself, but our mind as well. But today, we're going to be talking about a very important um, area of poverty, which is the financial poverty. Well, we're going to have this conversation continuously. So today we are staying on financial poverty. Okay. And now it takes us to the next point, understanding the source of poverty. If you saw my topic, the headline was Africans, right? It was a purposeful thing. I really did that because I really wanted to talk, and I want to talk with Africans because I realized the real need to help most of us. Now, I want to talk about the sources. Where does poverty come from? Please don't get provocated, okay? But I tell you, you'll be amazed where poverty comes from. Now, remember the definition of poverty. Let's go back to that definition. Remember it, and maybe you took note. We said poverty is a lack of creativity to produce, and to multiply, and to replenish your God given gift. What for? For the world to profit from it. And then, as a result, reward you. And how can they reward you? By giving you money or again, gifts of any kind. It could also be relationship and nice talks, right? Now that we remember that definition, let's get the sources of poverty. Where does poverty really come from? I'm seeing Millie. Millie say poverty comes from the mind. You got it, Millie. Now, you are the source of your poverty. How? Only two sources exist for poverty. So, from today, I want you to take away. They did some magic powers on me back home. That's why I'm financially not stable. Or because I am not paying my or giving some gifts to people, that's why I'm financially not prosperous. No, only two forms sources of poverty exist. One, Millie, you said it already, but now I gave it in my own word, you. And it starts with the thought. As a man thinketh, so is he. And as a woman thinketh, so is she. For those who read the Bible, you can find that in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. It means that you are the cause of your financial lack, financial limitation. Why? Because of the financial blueprint you are having. Can you remember some of the things you were told about money when you were growing? Maybe those are those things that you were told about money that has kept you in that financial bondage. Do you remember you were told that rich people are very wicked? And it has gone right deep into your mind, and you say, oh, I don't want to be rich because if I'm rich, I'm falling into the category of wicked people. Can you remember this? So your mind is inside the mind. We're going to come again to understand the power of the mind so that you know where I am coming from. Now, the other second source of poverty is again you. Why you? Because you have rejected knowledge. Now, when I say you have rejected knowledge, I really mean that. And we can see that in Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, the B part of it. Most often, we read only the first part of Hosea chapter 4. We say, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Today, I want to break that. No, you have the knowledge. You know what to do so you can be financially stable. You know that you have to work on your mindset. You know that you must make the changes. In fact, you know that you have to stop eating what you're eating. You and me, we know. You know that you need relationships. You know that money doesn't come from heaven, it doesn't fall from heaven. That if you have to get money here on earth, you must get it through human beings. Yet, you refuse to build good relationships with human beings. Why? Because of the smallness of your mind. Again, so you realize now that only two sources of poverty, financial poverty and every other poverty, results from these two sources. Which are they? One, your thinking pattern. As you think, so you are. Therefore, take this assignment and write down what are your blueprints, financial blueprints about money, so that as we continue this series, you can be able to work on that, right? And then, secondly, which is the information that you heard about money and then that you have actually thrown away because you know what to do, but you have thrown it away. We're going to come back to that again because I think it's very important. Now, let's move further because of our time and discover the purpose of poverty. I'm sure that you are looking and say, hey, is there any purpose of poverty? Of course, yes. If everything on earth has a purpose, what God created, everything, He had a purpose for everything. You see, when He created you, He had a purpose for creating you. Question: have you found out that purpose? If you have not, you will turn over and over a particular circle. Now, what is the purpose of poverty? I'm very sorry that I'm laughing at this very important conversation, but many people really want to stay on that, right? So, question is, what is the source? What is the purpose of poverty? Let's get to define it and let's get to find out together. Please just write in the comments if you know the purpose of poverty, and then we're going to have that conversation. Maury, I hear your talk. Maury says we have all that it takes to break poverty circle. It's all about our mindset. Really, that's it. That's it. It's all in the mind. And when you say two sources of poverty, one, thought, the power of the mind. Second, you build good relationship with human beings, make good use of financial knowledge. Thank you very much, Wendy. That's so amazing. Thank you so very much. We have Jerry saying the mind of poverty, which makes you not acknowledge hardworking people. And I'm going to come back to this too, Jerry, because this is so important because we see a lot of us usually want to fight even those who are really doing amazing work and give them such titles, and we really have to break that kind of evil circle. Okay. And now Wambi Rose said the purpose to get to rock bottom, to accept who we really are. Well, let's get to know it, Wambi Rose. Let's talk about the purpose of poverty. And Joyce Nyamin said, how do we find our purpose? We're going to come to that, my dear Joyce. And now let's stay on the purpose of poverty. So if you think that there's a purpose for poverty, please just write it below, and then we're going to come to that again. But take note of the question. What is the purpose of poverty? And why are you financially not stable? Now, I'm going to shock most of us, especially those of us living in Europe and Germany. We are so used to the mediocre life in Germany, and it's so terrible because we all seem to have at least the bread, at least the food, at least the shelter, and at least the clothing. And we are comfortable, most of us. But why? What if I really challenged you and said, do not be comfortable with where you are. Do not accept that space of comfortability. You can't be comfortable when we have enough women being raped out there and they don't have the support they need. You can't be comfortable where you are when a grandmother in the village, I'm not saying your grandmother, I mean a grandmother was a widow, they didn't have any financial support and is lacking food, and you are comfortable. No, we can't be comfortable where we are. We can't just be comfortable. And that's why we have to really break that kind of pattern of thinking. Because if we get out of that pattern of thinking that it is always about us, then we will be able to understand why we should not even tolerate for a second that mindset of poverty. So, and Sebastian Chi says poverty is that state of mind whereby you are unable to say, I am my blockage, and get out there and make the difference. Once you stay in this state, you fulfill the purpose of poverty. Thank you so very much, Chi Sebastian. We're going to come back to that. Thank you very much. I'm seeing you're all following. God bless you. Now, let's talk on the power of the mind. Now, for most of you, Chi Sebastian is an IT specialist, and most of you, I see you also. But let's talk about the power of the mind. If you understand how the computer functions, that's how our mind functions, right? Now, have you ever observed when you put information in a computer, you put that information, come back after 5 years, the information that you had put in that computer is still there looking at you, not checking, right? Even when you have deleted that information, somehow it has a way to go and hide somewhere. Well, I really don't know where it's hiding, but technicians, IT technicians say it's still somewhere in that computer. That's why you can even be in Germany and you write, and somebody in another country knows where you are. Don't ask me how, I'm not an IT expert, right? But I just wanted to bring the relationship between our minds and our computer so that we understand the kind of information we give to this mind and to this computer up here. Okay, now the power of the mind, it is also just like the soil. You see, the soil is like a kind of empty space, right? And it only produces what you put inside. So let's say that you take some poisonous maize, you put poison in a maize and then you dry that and then you plant that maize. What do you think will come out? The same thing that you put will come out, and usually even more. So poisonous maize will come out, and if you eat of it, you're going to die. The same thing is with our mind. If you choose to put negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and maybe disempowering beliefs in your mind, that is what you're going to get. That is what you're going to produce. And there is no magic about it. Your grandpa in the village did not do anything to you. Your grandma did not do much to you. It is your mind that choose to stay in that limited beliefs. There was an example someone told me some years back. An elephant, and you know how big the elephant is. The elephant was tied in a very small corner on a chain, well tied. And this elephant, each time it wanted to go out to go get some food, it was always being blocked. And that elephant was tied there very young, maybe young child elephant. And so he got the food in front of it and all that. And this elephant became extremely big and large. But even though the chain was removed from that elephant could still not move because of the information it had stored and believed that he could not move. That's how most of us are. Most of us have instilled in us informations until we go and become conscious and remove those information, we're going to remain in that position. Now, let's go to understanding how this mindset affect us, how the mind affect us. I want you to know today that your mind has two assignments. The first assignment is your mind wants to protect you. Your mind is your protector. And how does it protect you? If you give your mind this empowering information from childhood, we got this empowering information, and now you're trying to break out of it. You want to break out of this negative pattern, this empowering pattern. What happened is, after 2 days, you start working towards that great vision, towards that mighty thing. You start working, you're enthusiastic, you start doing. Now, your mind comes again and tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Remember, I am there to protect you. Don't do it. Because if you do it, you may fail. So don't do it. What happens? It pulls you back to the comfort zone. Which is the comfort zone? That comfort zone of limitation. Why? Because you have been there for long, and therefore it is not yet ready to get out. And it takes a lot of consciousness, mindfulness, to be able to break through that kind of belief system that we have already installed in us. We must really, just like the computer, do a thorough rebooting, really reboot and take away all those kind of evil limiting beliefs we had put in, so that we can be able to now break through and now start seeing things differently, start perceiving information differently, and start processing information differently. Right? Good, good, good. Now, why must we break and overcome the mindset of poverty? I beg of you, if you take nothing home along today, take these few ones. Your playing small don't help the world. Remember what the definition of poverty is that your lack of creativity, and especially not using and producing the gift that God has in you. Someone asked me, how do you find out your purpose in life? We're going to come to that. But let's talk about finding out the gift of the fish. Now, you all eat fish, right? I also love fish, and I just had some good roasted fish today. But now, when I was roasting my fish, I began also thinking about the purpose of the fish and the gift that the fish has. I don't know if you know the gift of the fish. If you know, just write it in the comment. What is the gift of the fish? Now, also think about it this way. What is the gift of the bird? Because it is only when you know your gift that you can now start finding ways to reproduce and produce that gift, right? Yes. What is the gift of a tree? What does a tree has in it as gift? Let's go back to the fish. Now, if you love eating fish like myself, one big rose says the fish is forgetful. Wow, good. That's what one big rose says. Now, that's okay, Wambi Rose. Thank you very much for joining and for really taking active part. Now, let's talk again deeply about the fish, but I will not comment too deep into the conversation of your comments, Rose. But let me just give the one gift of the fish that we all know, but only we are not conscious of it, is the fact that the fish can swim. Yes, yes. The fish is the greatest swimmer. Now that you know that the fish can swim, where can the fish really possibly do its best and become its best and reproduce its best? It is only in the water. Now, if you take now the fish with the gift of swimming and put that fish on the air or in the air, do you think the fish will be able to produce? No. No matter the magic you will do, no matter your fasting and prayers you will do, the fish in that air will not be able to be productive. Why? because the environment of the fish is the water and not the air. The same rule applies to the bird, or again to the eagle. Now, the eagle is one of the powerful birds. Jesus is even compared as well to the eagle. And the power of the eagle is that it flies so high. And there's no other bird that flies that high like the eagle. Now let's take the eagle and put the eagle in a cage, like though it was a papagayi. You know, the parrot, right? Put it into a cage and then put it in front of your home and you're admiring. What happens with this eagle? What do you think will happen? Remember, the gift of the eagle is to fly that high. Now you have taken the eagle and we have put it into a cage and enjoy it like a papagayi or like the parrot, right? Now, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, what happened with the parrot, the eagle? The eagle start thinking like the parrot, like the papagayi or the parrot. In fact, the eagle will start thinking that his friends are the chickens. But remember that actually the eagle, they feed from such animals like the chicken, the chicks. And if you're not careful, they start turning around together and behave like though they are brothers and sisters and friends, right? So now, can the eagle, that powerful eagle, really produce in that atmosphere being caged? No, I do not think so. It cannot. Why not? Because the sphere of influence of the eagle is in the air. And now you have taken it and put it in a cage. And you have blocked, therefore, the eagle to be able to produce, either you or the eagle itself. Now, the eagle itself, now, when it starts believing that he too is a parrot, a papagayi, will start behaving like one. And what happens, even when you tell the eagle, hey, eagle, you are actually an eagle, the biggest bird, you fly so high, it will say, oh no, 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 I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I was told that this is my place and I really enjoy the place. And I'm comfortable. You know, I'm really comfortable here. There's no problem. I must not fly. That's what happened with most of us. And therefore, my brothers and sisters, your playing small don't help this world at all. Your playing comfortable don't help us move forward. You're making yourself small financially is not doing anyone good. In fact, there is no virtue in financial limitations. Do not bother what many people say. Oh, I like the way I am. I'm comfortable. They are not comfortable. It's just that the majority of people, when they have bread and where to put their head, they feel comfortable. But indeed are not comfortable. I tell you why they are not comfortable after this. I want you to fight with all what you have within you to destroy that circle of poverty. Your financial lack is not a blessing, and you should not be comfortable in your little. Do not be comfortable. And I'm saying this because it doesn't help your next neighbor, and it doesn't help a tribal sister, and it doesn't help a village woman that has been sent packing out from her home because of lack of financial means to pay her rent. Now, let me give you a few tips so that you know that there is no virtue in being financially poor or limited. Take a good look at kings and queens. Be honest to yourself. Have you ever found one who is financially limited? One. If you found one, write their names down here so we get to check what happened. Because there is none. And there should be none. And this is the image you are carrying, the image of a king and the image of a queen. The question is, what went wrong? Why did you lose that image, that glorious image? What happened that you fell so short of that image? What went wrong? If you start understanding where you went wrong, what happened, it could bring you back to understanding how mighty you are. Now, let's go again. For those who say they are comfortable, I want you to believe what I tell you now. Your having financial liberty was never about you. Remember my mission on earth. My mission is to support you, understand your own mission. And my mission is to help you fulfill your God given potentials. How do I do that if I am financially not able to do that? It will be practically impossible to actually be of that good help to you if I also am in that position that will be needing food and begging for food and bread, right? And therefore, don't be in that position. Each time you think of staying in that position, I beg of you, remember that widow in the village that you do not know. Remember that orphan, that boy, that girl, that if you were financially fit enough, you would just pay their school fees without asking where was the father or where is the mother. Remember that old woman and that old man that in one corner of your village unable to eat. Remember that girl that has been raped and she's been mocked at in the society. What if you were able to build even a girls hostel for those that have been raped so you can help them? Remember the sick people that are unable. We have a brother that the news is going around. They need financial support to be able to take him back to his country. What if you were so financially stable? Won't you give out the 3,000 euros, 2,000 euros, 1,000 euros without thinking? Would that be a virtue? Of course, yes. Remember the people that you are supposed to help, and their name is attached to yours. And you're here playing comfort zones. No, 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 no. You can't play comfort zones when you're supposed to be the king and the queen. It is not correct, right? So it is a sin to be in poverty. Oops, did I say that? Yes, I said that. Because there's no virtue in being financially lacking. And there's no virtue in being in comfort zones when the next neighbor you can bless. Now, let's take this scenario. What if that grandma in the village came to you and said, "Oh, Vera, I really need your help. I need a roof on my head. My zinc is sinking." And then you go to the grandma, you just build that zinc for her without asking anybody. You just went and built, and you did not need to make the noise that I built is a roof for a mother, a grandmother, right? When you do that, and then you say, "Mama, give your life to God. God is your source and He's your provider. He will make all things beautiful for you." You think that mama will not give her life to God? He will. She will. You know why? Because you have shown the goodness of God to her by that kind gesture. There's no poverty, there is no virtue in being financially poor. Not at all. Most of the Christians I hear these days say all things are vanity. Yes, so it is true, but even poverty is vanity. So take this home. All things is vanity. Even poverty is vanity. But it was a man like you and me that God used to take that your Jesus body and put in the grave. Let's assume all his disciples were not able to take that corpse and put in that grave. What would have been of our salvation today, my friend? Please think and think well. Think and think well. Most people have the belief that if you are rich, you cannot enter the kingdom of God? Who said this kind of, who gave us this kind of belief? What if you said, I will use my riches to bless souls and to bring more virtue in the kingdom of God? Would that be a sin? No. The problem we have is that most people don't think beyond their nose. Now, if you think all about you, your family, your mother, your children, why should God give you even that money? Or you don't even deserve it now. You don't deserve it because you'll be proud. The pride of life will take you. But you know what? The moment you start thinking about that orphan child, remember they are children of God too, but somehow they became orphans. The moment you start thinking about that widower, that widow, you think about that Oma, that Opa, hey, God will open that heaven for you. You know why? Because it's no longer about you, but about those people. I am praying for you that you understand this so that your mindset must change. Now that we are getting this, our time is fast going. How do we overcome the poverty mentality? Remember, I said all things is in the mind. And of course, if we have to overcome, we have to go back in the mind. Now, what must we do? We must be conscious of the fact that you and only you are responsible for your life. You have caused the poverty, no other person. You have accepted the poverty, no other person. And you have tolerated it for too long. And therefore, go back into the mind and give your mind new information, new beliefs. Tell your mind, I want to be rich, wealthy, so that I will help the grandma in the village that I do not know. Now I have a project in Africa where I support young people in their project. Honestly, how will I do this if God don't bless me? Right? Now we spent more than 10,000 euros for that. That was my own kind of sowing seed in the life of people I do not know. And I don't want to know them and I don't care to even know them. I only want to see that their project were a good project to also help other people. And I decided to invest in them. And I do not know them. How is that going to be possible if you're financially lacking? If you're thinking only about yourself. But now, why will God now bless me? Oh, he only must have to bless me because it's no longer about me, right? It's about those young people that I do not want them to perish in the Mediterranean Sea. If the few that I can support in my own way, I say, God, thank you. I can't heal the whole world, I can't deliver the whole world, but I can do the little I can do. Now, how do we overcome that poverty mentality? The first thing you must do is to understand that it's not even about you. If God must have to bless you, be financially stable, will never be about you. You must start developing the new mindset and the concept that it's about others. And when you become genuine and loving other people with a genuine mind, God will make ways for you even when there seem to be no ways. Now, the way seems to be so close because God asked the question, my daughter, but why should I bless you now? You say, I want to buy a good car. My son, why should I bless you now? I want to buy a new house. My daughter, why should I bless you now? I want to dress well. As if to say those things will add value to others. Remember, we have only two purposes here on earth. One, only to add value to the lives of other people, and then two, your own self purpose, your mission for which you are born. And if you don't understand these two things, you will wallow in the circle of poverty because there's nothing good that you will do with money anyway, apart from buying shoes, clothes, food. And can you sleep on two beds? No. Can you wear two shoes at a time? No. Can you wear, these are things, yes, these are things we call vanity, the pride of life. Okay. Now, how to overcome one? Think. Your thinking pattern. Your thought leads to your feelings. and your feelings leads to your actions, and the actions produce the result. Therefore, change your thinking patterns. Give it new informations. I do not want to get money because of myself. Can you do that? Can you think that way? If not, start thinking that way. If you start thinking that way, you will see the change, and God will start opening your eyes to even see your true purpose and start giving you the wisdom to start creativity and being productive in that area. Now, the next thing you must do is to change again your pattern. Change the information that you got. If they ever told you again, if anybody ever tells you again that money is not good, tell them to give you what they have already. Okay? Tell them, give me what you have and stay without, because money for you is not good. But for me, money is good. Why is it good? Because it helps other people. Remember, it's always about other people. And then, thirdly, put the simple things into practice. We complicate life too much. Now, remember the story of the fish and the eagle? Now, let's take it back to ourselves today. If you are supposed to be a cook and you do bakery and sales to people, what are you doing in an engineer sector? You see why you cannot produce? Because you're already in the wrong place. Go back to the kitchen. If you are in the kitchen and you are cooking well and selling and blessing people and smiling, people will be blessed. They will give you their blessings. They will give you their money. Now you go and sit in an engineer in a computer IT, and you know what, that's not your place, and you're frowning your face every day. Customers are coming, you're even frowning when you're working with them. They will say, why do I even have to bless you? They will not bless you. Now, if you're not supposed to be um if you're supposed to be, for example, again, another example, if you're supposed to be a teacher and you're supposed to teach people and guide them, lead them, mentor them, excuse me, what are you doing in the kitchen? Are you not seeing what is happening? So now you go to the kitchen because everybody is going to the kitchen. You just go to the kitchen. You know, they say, the opposite of foolishness is really not cowardice. You know what that is? It's conforming. You want to conform like everybody is conforming. You want to just fit yourself into the how everybody else is doing, and therefore you lose focus of who you are. How I pray God will help you. And this is my formula I created for success. You can write it down. IK, which stands for in-depth knowledge, plus IC, which stands for inspired character, plus IA, which stands for innovative actions or innovative activity, equals to success. And of course, good success. Let's talk about IK. IK, in-depth knowledge. If you have in-depth knowledge about even the subject of poverty, you will get out of it so quick. If you have in-depth knowledge about who you truly are, you will not play small again. If you get in-depth knowledge about your true purpose of life, you can't play small and you won't get confused. Find out, who are you? Find out, where is your gifting? Find out, what is your talent? And do not bother if you have only one gift. Play big with your one gift. If you have five gifts, play big with the five gifts. If you have two gifts, play big with the two gifts. If you have one gift, don't bury it. Play big with that one gift, and you will be amazed at the wonders that will happen. Now, we spoke about behavior, and we also said money comes from people, oh, not from heaven, eh? No, from people. Therefore, there is a need for you to work on your attitude. That's why the inspired character. Your character will attract the right people. And my friends, I tell you, it doesn't matter. You can call Jesus from morning to evening. You can pray from morning to evening. As long as your character, your attitude is not good, people will not give you the gift of their any of the gift, be it the gift of time, gift of money, gift of friendship. Why? Because your attitude repels them. That's why work on your character, work on your integrity, work on your speech, work on your communication. Be empathetic, show genuine love to people, and see how it comes back to you. And then IA is innovation, innovative actions, innovative activities. When you put this all together, my friends, you will succeed. You will succeed because time and chance belongs to us all. And it doesn't matter if you are Buddhist, it doesn't matter if you are whatever, time and chance. And as long as you put these things into practice, I tell you, the rain falls on the wicked and on the good. That's our God, oh. He is so gracious, compassionate, and loving. And He pours His rain to whom He chooses to. He blesses whom He chooses to. And therefore, you better do yourself good to be at the right path. Have that in-depth knowledge about who you are, where you come from, where you're going to, why you are here on earth, and make sure you start living in the purpose of for which you were created. Hey, now, question: can we really overcome the poverty mentality? Of course, yes, we can do that. How? If we're conscious of the fact that we are the source of our own financial poverty. If we are conscious of the fact that money comes only from people and not from heaven and falling down, therefore, work on your relationship with people. I was having a conversation with my husband today, and I said, many people are wondering how far I have come. What has happened? Oh, I realized so quick that it was just about relationships. Your expertise is brilliant, is good. Make sure you have it. But I tell you, for you to get to the top, it's no longer about expertise. It's about the kind of people you mingle with, the kind of people you talk with. And therefore, you must watch your tongue. Therefore, work on your communication. Don't be amongst those when they say, do this. You say, that's how I am. Well, if that's how you are, that's how your finances too will be. All right. So work on those little things that repel people around you, even unconscious to yourself. And as you do this, be very sure that this poverty mentality will be broken. I'm seeing a lot of commentaries. Hey, our time is fast gone. I really don't know what to do now and how to proceed. But you know what? We're going to have the series again next week. And please make sure you invite your friends, invite your brothers, because this information, you will not get it in a church the way I'm saying it now. You will not get it in a school, and you will not get it also from entrepreneurs, because not everyone even understand how they arrive where they arrive. But I took time to question. And because I'm one of those that I must understand the why, if I don't understand why, I can't function. And therefore, I made up my mind to always understand the why. And today, the why of this conversation was to inspire you, was to trigger you, that you get out from that poverty mindset and believe that you can really make the difference, knowing that you are the cause of what you have become or where you are now. Is that good? Good. I really wish you a nice evening and then hope to see you next week. But I'm going to go through all your questions and all your contributions after this. And if you have any question, you know where to get me. Send me an information in my messenger, and therefore I'm going to get back to you. Thank you so very much. And take care of yourself, and hope to see you next week, same time, for another conversation. God bless you. My name is Vera Sompon, and of course, my mission is to help you. Take care of yourself, and bye bye.